Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. I'm going to be painting, so if you guys want to paint with me, grab your canvases, grab your paintbrushes, grab your paint, and let's get to it. I just wanted to sit and talk to you guys about whatever comes to mind, whatever it is that I'm dealing with, whatever it is that, I feel like is something that we should talk about and address. A lot of self-help stuff. I am on obviously a self-growth, self-help journey myself, so I can definitely talk about my personal experience and about all of that good stuff. I was looking at Pinterest because I honestly am not too sure what I want to do. We're going to give it a try, just kind of go off of the vibe rather than do the exact thing. Personally, being 23, I'm 23 right now, this is the time where you are really like focused on who you're trying to be, and it's when you are like transitioning into the real world, your 20s. I mean, you've been in high school, you've been in middle school, and it's like, that's not real life. I mean, it's part of it, but you're not in the real world. You still have a daily routine that you have to follow, and people you have to listen to, and people that will tell you what to do when to do it. The 20s era, it's when you really just kind of figure out who you are, or you're trying to figure out who you are. You're trying to learn more about yourself and trying to find out what your real passions are and all of that. You're figuring out, who you are as an individual, because growing up and as a child, we're these people that our parents show us to be, and that our external environment teaches us to be. Definitely your biggest teachers are going to be your parents. So whether that was a healthy relationship or a very unhealthy relationship, it's going to highly affect the quality of the rest of your life. And what I mean by that is like traumas that you experience in childhood that you carry through your life, through your lifespan. I mean, the 20s are where you start to be an individual person, and where you start to decide things for yourself, where you start to make your own judgments, where you start to go back and change the way that you used to think about things. You start to make your own judgments about religion, about clothing, about whether it's good or bad to do something, and it's really where you start to make decisions, and sometimes mistakes. To make mistakes is very difficult when you're used to someone holding your hand. It can get rocky. But it's important to always stay true to who you are, to always think about your moral compass. And of course, if the way that you see things, or the way that you grew up feeling about certain things, is something you don't align with anymore, you don't have to identify yourself with that anymore. You can be the change. This one is mainly for the girlies, because I think we're usually the ones who start to overthink situations, or get nervous, or wonder if we're enough and stuff. I think it's mainly the girls who have trouble feeling safe. We also feel insecure. I mean, I'm sure guys feel insecure too, I'm sure, but for girls, I just feel like it's more common and more often. And it depends, of course, right? It really does depend on our upbringing and who we are and the relationship and everything. What I have to say to those of you who overthink and get nervous and overthink a situation where it's just kind of a negative cycle and it's not in any way possible something good for you, where you're not enjoying the present moment, definitely you have to go back to why you're doing that. And mostly it's because there's something that maybe you went through that you're kind of going back to every time you feel scared or feel nervous or get insecure. Sometimes we're not even reacting to like reality. We are reacting to something we kind of made in our head, or filled in gaps with things from the past or something like that. And then all of a sudden you begin to realize when this is happening that you are both the victim, because you are the victim of feeling sad, but sometimes you're also the villain, making yourself be sad by thinking sad things or filling in gaps from stuff in the past, from traumas from the past, and quickly being like, oh no, I know what's going on. Like your body starts to try to help you out, and you are in this survival mode, and it can get very hard and dark and difficult to get out of there. It can feel like it, but you really just have to kind of decide for yourself, you know, how much longer am I going to allow this to continue happening? You know, how much more am I going to let these traumas or these bad things from my past continue, you know, showing up in my future, continue ruining my present and making me forget, or making me blind to reality, which is beautiful and I would normally be grateful for and thankful for, but because I'm in this headspace and because I'm so like in my head, I don't see it that way, and I'm just seeing it through a lens of, I've been through this before, I think I know what's going on, I need to be careful, I can't trust this person, blah 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 blah. And then it just becomes a whole cycle of negativity and bad emotions that may have arise from nothing. Of course, sometimes they don't arise for nothing, and there's a reason why, you know, you feel the way that you feel. But what I'm talking about is when nothing is seriously happening, there is no threat, there is no real problem, but in your head, in your mind, in your body, it feels like something bad is happening right now. Like I need to be careful. Like, I hope you guys know what I mean, because I've definitely experienced that a lot. It's just important to catch yourself when that's happening so that you can take control over your life again, because like that's it, you really are letting your traumas and your past and your pains and, you know, these terrible things you just wish you could let go of, but it's like you're hanging on to them with dear life, because you're like, these scary things taught me to be careful, taught me that I have to watch what's going on and watch my surroundings and all this stuff. And you're just hanging on to that, and that's stopping you from moving on and from accepting something new. Even if this person in the past was this way and said these things or did these things, today is in fact a new day, and you know, you're here for a reason. Now, of course, everyone has their own, you know, everything varies situation to situation. Sometimes we feel insecure, and it's tough to navigate those feelings when we're already feeling down and already not feeling good in our bodies, and you know, comparing ourselves to people we see on social media. We gotta talk about that. I mean, social media, it's just a place where you just compare yourself, and it really is sad to like think about. Everyone's different. Everyone is so different, and we never know what's going on in those people's, you know, the perfect people we see on Instagram or TikTok. We never know what, you know, is actually going on behind the scenes, and you know, maybe they are living a happy life, but you never know. And just because it seems like, you know, they're happy and no worries and whatnot, it doesn't mean that that's the truth. It's normal to get jealous. It's normal to be, you know, here and there to feel some type of way about things. But always, every day, all the time, when you're just chilling, like all of a sudden your peace is taken away, you feel nervous. It's important to ground yourself, breathe. That helps. Only, you know, the universe got you. There's angel numbers. I used to not really think about those or anything, and then all of a sudden I'm like, 222. It's like, it really is just reassurance from the universe, and it means something, and it's nice getting that reassurance. But also, you gotta be able to reassure yourself, like, you know, like everything's gonna be okay, even though it's scary, even though I'm afraid, even though I don't know. You know, it definitely is difficult in a moment to tell yourself, you know, hey, everything is okay and I don't have to worry right now. It is very difficult, but the more you do it, the easier it starts to get. When we're comparing ourselves to other people, it's important to remember that no one can do us better than we can ourselves. No one can do you better than you can. No one can do me better than I can. No one can do Doja Cat better than Doja Cat can. And that's the idea that you have to accept, that you have to realize, that you have to really just, you know, adopt, because the whole comparing, the whole, you know, this person is better than me or this person is prettier than me, you know, it happens to us. It happens to a lot of us. You are one of a kind and you are perfect just the way you are. It's good to want to change stuff about yourself. It's good to not be content with where you are. It's good to not settle. It's good to want to keep going. It's good to want to keep bettering yourself and want to improve and wanting to be a better person. It's very important. Romanticize your life. If you're just staying at home and every day you stay at home, make it different. Enjoy your routine. Make sure you settle in to comfy clothes. Treat yourself, you know, and make sure that you are showing love to yourself. And if that means, instead of having breakfast at home, if that means going to pick up breakfast from your favorite breakfast spot today, then sure, do that for yourself. Or if you want to stay and have a little spa day for yourself, do face mask, do your nails, you know, do a hair mask. All of these things are things that you can do to show up for yourself, to be there for yourself. And also, while you're doing this, throw on music that makes you happy. Listen to a podcast that challenges you to be better. Reading is nice. It removes your attention. Your attention is now on the words that you're reading, and a lot of the times the stuff you're reading can be really good. A lot of self-help books. The one that I am currently reading right now is The Power of Now, and that one is really good. It's just really trying to help you realize how easy it is to start enjoying your present rather than dwelling on the future and dwelling on the past. The past is something we can't change, so therefore it is what it is. Let it go. If it hurts, it hurts. If it hurt, it hurt. But that doesn't mean it has to continue to hurt. And it will hurt, you know? If it's recent, it's gonna hurt, whatever it is. But when it becomes a problem is when you can't go back to yourself, when you can't recover from that problem, and where you can't like rewire your brain connections to something, to a healthier scenario, and you're just really always tracing back, going back, taking evidence from past moments that were traumatic, bad moments where people made mistakes. One other thing I want to talk about is self-doubt and limiting yourself. A lot of the times we limit ourselves because we're afraid. We think we cannot do things. We think only certain people from certain areas, or who grew up a certain life, or who have been doing it for their entire life now, can do these things. And you know, what makes me think I could, and all this stuff, and all this negative self-talk, and all this limiting beliefs that we have formed. For example, if in middle school you took a math exam that you didn't practice, that you didn't study for enough, that you slept really late and you didn't get good sleep, and you didn't have a good breakfast, and it's been a rough week, and you just fail that exam, you could, as a young person, adopt the thought that you are not smart, that you are not good for math, that you cannot solve problems, that you aren't as intelligent as other people, or you can't go further in life. But those are all ideas that they're like labels that we adopt for ourselves, but they're not permanent, and they don't have to be, and they never had to be. All they really were just during that moment, how they made you feel. Those feelings that you had of not being smart, you didn't have to have in the first place, because things happened. You didn't get a good score because of this, because of this, because of this. Now, I'm not saying always make excuses for yourself and say, well, this was going on, this was going on, this was going on. No, what I'm saying is, I'm trying to paint the picture that as young people, as developing, you know, teenagers, we go through things in life, and a lot of the times we accept those things as part of us. We accept those things as characteristics that we can't fix, that we were just born with, that we can't excel from, but absolutely not. You not being good at math, you not being good at soccer, you, all these things, they're ideas that you've formulated and you've created and you've attached yourself to, these labels. But they're just labels, they're just words that have like a certain meaning in your heart, in your mind, but you can always change your perspective, change your way that, change the way that you view things, change the way that you view yourself. You can always change. You can always adapt. That's one thing about us humans, that we're so adaptable. We always adapt in all of the areas, you know, where we have to, where we're forced to, where there's no other choice. We have the power with our minds to dissociate ourselves from the labels we created as young kids who didn't know better. But now as an adult, you know better, and you can go back and you can address those moments in your past that made you create this whole idea and personality and characteristic of yourself. And you can say, no. For so long, I identified as this, but now I'm gonna put this away, and I'm gonna leave this space free for me to fill in with whatever I have to offer, with whatever it is that I, you know, I'm removing the pain, I'm removing the label, and I'm leaving it an open space. I'm leaving an open space to create. I'm leaving an open space to grow. I'm leaving an open space to rebirth, to re-identify myself, to reclaim yourself. You're reclaiming who you are, you're reclaiming your good energy. You gotta reclaim all of these things, because when we're living in these, when we're living in our head, when we're hyper focused with everything, when we're worried about everything, when you're like, did this person say this but they were trying to say this, or, you know, did they mean it like this, or is it because of me, or do I even belong here? Like, do I have what it takes to fill this spot? Like, the answer is yes. The universe has brought you to this moment, to this day. And yeah, it's not like, how did I end up here? It's the universe. It's your destiny. It's your world, it's your energy, and you have it all within you. You have everything you need within you to be that best version of yourself, to walk around like you own the place, to walk around with confidence, to see a pretty girl and say, wow, you're so beautiful, have a nice day, and not hyper focus on this idea of beauty standards and you not meeting them and this person meeting them, and all of a sudden you're not worth it, and all of a sudden this person's winning and you're in danger. And it's just, it can get out of hand. It can feel very overwhelming when you start to feel all the physical responses, where your heart starts to beat faster and you start to shiver and you start to like tense up your chest and like be very nervous. You're entering a survival mode, and most of the time there's no need to be in survival mode. We are safe. We are in good conditions. We're in good hands. And we don't need to be afraid of everything this person says. We don't need to be afraid of what this person's doing when you're not there. Some takeaways from this video are to always be yourself, because no one can be better than you. No one can. You do you best, and no one can mess with you, and you slay, and you do you. Let them do them. You do you. You focus on yourself. You give that energy to yourself. That energy where you would normally hyperfixate on something, use that energy instead on yourself. And love yourself, and comfort yourself, and reassure yourself that you are amazing, that you are gorgeous, that you are irreplaceable, that you are one of a kind, and that you do have this spark that no one else has and that no one else can offer. And that's what makes you unique. That's what makes you special. And that's what you need to hold on, so that you don't lose that light. You need to hold on to that idea, to that principle, that you are a goddess, that life is working out and life is challenging, but at the end of the day, at the end of the tunnel, there's going to be light, and you know, everything will come back to its normal condition, and you will be happy and you will live a content life. You just have to tap into your deeper self, and you can do this by journaling, by meditating, by doing yoga, by just laying down and thinking, by writing down your thoughts, by speaking out loud about how you're feeling. The universe is working with you. It's not working against you. Why would it be doing that? Why would it be doing that? Of course you think that. Of course, you know, where you're at in life makes you think, oh, everything's gonna go the wrong way. Worst case scenario, always. Prepare for the worst. Be nervous for the worst. But I'm also very cold, so if you see me moving a lot, it's because I'm trying to keep myself warm. You are enough. And a lot of the times, I've had that question, you know, am I enough? Am I worth it? Does this person think I'm worth it? And obviously, you know, we like to say that we know we're, oh yeah, I feel great about myself. Thank you very much. How do you feel? You should feel great about yourself. But is that really how we feel? Or is that just what we're trying to show other people so that we're not seen as weak people or sad, fragile people? But we're all, you know, going through life. We're all learning things. We're all taking what life throws at us. So it's important to hug yourself and tell yourself you are enough. And sometimes it's from stuff, you know, that recently you went through, but sometimes it stems from childhood. And you know, just think about when you were small. I feel like I can cry. Just think about when you were small and like what you would say, and would you really tell yourself like, ew, you look disgusting today? Oh. But you know, we do have those days where we are like, you know what? Ugh, like my hair looks terrible. And we do have terrible days, terrible hair days. It happens, but it's part of us. And since we were small, we've had bad hair days. And back then it wasn't such a like a damaging thing where, okay, I'm not crying about my hair, guys. The hair thing is just an example of things that we are so judgmental about now as adults that back when we were children we wouldn't think about so much. We would just brush our hair and be like, got it, put it up and be like, set, we're set, let's go. Now it's like, oh no, I can't go anywhere, or oh, I have to do all of this, or oh, I have to burn it for 3 hours and all this stuff. And it can happen with anything. Like, I had so much acne when I was in high school. It was so hard for me, and it was my biggest insecurity, and thankfully I am not struggling with as much as I used to. I still am, but not as much. And no one was really ever mean to me. Like, thankfully, no one was really like a bully about that insecurity that I had, but it was just so like real and evident to me, and it just made me feel so disturbing, and it was tough. But and also maybe it didn't make me feel as pretty as other people, and it made me feel like I had to wear makeup, and then that was like worse though. And it's like, well, what do? I have to show up to school. It was a really dark time for me going through high school and seeing perfect skin on Instagram, and I did Facetune my face. I did, you know, hide the blemishes. I did remove them. I did blur my face a little bit to make it look more smooth, because I felt like that's what I needed to do to feel like worthy enough to be posted on Instagram. I don't do that anymore. Thankfully, my skin has been pretty good. I obviously have breakouts. I'm actively working on my skincare, trying to always elevate it and make it perfect for me, for my skin. Listen to what helps and what doesn't. You can do all these things that you would normally do, but with intention, with purpose, with the idea that you're doing this for you to feel more cozy, for you to feel more comfortable, for your skin to look more luscious and glowy. We're all trying to be better. We're all trying to improve. We're all trying to be our best version, and it's hard and it's long. It's a long journey. And like I said, I don't know if there's really ever a finish line where you're like, I'm good, like I'm my best version. I just feel like you can always be improving, you can always be better, and you can always, you know, strive for better and strive for greatness. And that's what we're going to be doing, and together we can overcome all of these bad thoughts. And you do have the power, and you are strong enough, and you have everything, every single thing that it takes for you to be, for you to feel complete, and for you to feel happy, and for you to feel enough. You've got it all within you. You just have to unlock those areas in you and, you know, be more gentle and be more loving to yourself a lot of the times, because a lot of the times we're just being extremely judgmental, and we're just being extremely hard on ourselves, and we're not, you know, giving ourselves a pat on the back. We're not celebrating the wins. We're just, you know, getting ourselves in trouble when we do something wrong. We're just pinpointing when we make a mistake, when we failed at something. Being in your 20s is definitely not easy. It's probably the hardest time. And actually, most people, generally speaking, have crises in their 20s. Not so much midlife crisis anymore. Like, midlife crisis, at midlife, you're probably gonna be you're probably gonna be all good, I'd hope. You know, I hope I'm good at 50. Right now is where I'm really trying to solve and push for all that, and where I'm like realizing I'm not where I want to be, and I'm not at my best self. And this is where I'm like really making all the changes so that in my midlife, I'm chilling. like I said, I don't know if there's that point where you're like, I can just do nothing now. No, still journal, still, you know, watch useful and knowledgeable podcasts and read books that can help you be more in tune with your deeper self and everything. You can always, you know, go further in your self-growth journey. So yes, girlies, stay positive. You are beautiful, you are enough, and you don't need somebody to tell you that in order for you to believe that, because sometimes people will tell you that and it's still like, you're still like, am I though? And it's, then you realize, oh, even if I'm getting exterior validation, the interior validation is not present. So therefore, I can't accept the external. I can just be like, oh, that's so sweet. But I'm not. But I'm not pretty. But I'm not cute. You have to first accept yourself. Love yourself. Be there for yourself. Be gentle. Listen to yourself. Do things that make you happy. Do things that make you feel like you, and be yourself. Like, I get the whole comparing yourself. I really do. I've done it for years. And it's just hard living. And it's unhappy. Like, it's just unsatisfying to live a life where you're not being yourself and you're just trying to be like a baddie or be like this IG model. Like, no, you are just enough the way you are. And like I said, all the quirky, cute, weird, random things that you have individually are what make you you and what make you special. So appreciate all of those things that normally you wouldn't. Like I said, be gentle on yourself and understand that it's a long, hard journey, but as long as you can remind yourself every day that this is your goal, that this is for your best future, this is for you to be your best version of yourself, this is all with good intention, and this is all for yourself, and you'll feel better navigating through life. Life will feel like it used to be like this, but now it's starting to be like this. And you're starting to keep up with it. You're starting to hang on to reality, and you're starting to appreciate the present. And yeah, you're starting to realize that you are perfect and that you are enough and that you are where you need to be right now. And always, you know, focus on also where you want to be in the future, but don't worry too much about the future, because the future is again made up, where it's not promised. We don't know if it's happening. We really don't know what's happening. But of course we like to guess and fill in gaps, and that's where anxiety can arise. So don't focus too much on the future, but have goals for yourself. Just remember that the universe is working with you, not against you, that you've got guardian angels watching your back, that you have angel numbers popping up trying to reassure you, trying to remind you that you are enough, that you are safe, that it's all good, and that there's no need to fear, there's no need to stress, that you can enjoy your present time, you can enjoy whatever it is that you're doing, and you don't have to worry. So that's all that I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I finished painting a while ago, but there were just some things that I knew I needed to say and that I wasn't like really thinking about because I was like really focused painting and stuff. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's different from what I usually do. I wanted to feel more personal, and I wanted it to feel I wanted it to be an opportunity for you guys to get to know a little bit more about me, and then me to maybe know a little bit more about you guys. I'm doing this to help somebody hopefully out there who can use this advice and is in need of a good message. So yeah, I hope you found this video entertaining and helpful, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. I added a moon, some little mountains, kind of like a little river bed, I don't know, lake, and some flowers.